there's crises and there's questions and concerns, there's celebrations, there's deception, there's some underhanded dealing going on, and there's a lot of courage. And all of this is part of the life we have together. I mean, none of these are new things that we never see day to day. So Exodus, Eric, Exodus means to go out. I mean, that's what it means. It's, He's out, yes, he's over there fiddling with the sound. And I'm like, yeah, he's totally out of practice. So, so Exodus means to go out. I mean, the word exit, that is Latin for he goes out or she goes out. I mean, that's what that word literally means. So Exodus is, it's we're going out. It's the people leaving. And it begins, Genesis began with this huge cosmic creation, and Exodus begins with this really simple story. There's a new king. There's a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph. Now, Genesis had ended with Joseph and his brothers and their families all reunited in Egypt, being given land in Goshen to settle and to prosper and to expand and be a new people. And this had been going on for centuries. When suddenly, one little thing, one simple fact, changes everything for all of them. And the king is dead. That's what changed. Eric, I'm over here going, come on, the king is dead. So long live the king. The king is dead. Kings die. Leaders die. They retire. They term out. They age out. They move on. It happens. And behind this, kind of bland description of this historical event, now a new king arose in Egypt. Well, that's huge. That's a huge turmoil that's everyone's been thrown into. Even for us, a change in leadership can kind of disrupt the balance and the stability that we rely on. I mean, what was one of the things that folks have said since I've been back? Oh, it's like, whew, you're back. Okay, good. Everything was fine. Everything was good, but okay, you're back. Because what happens is when stuff gets disrupted and that system's not working the way it usually does and the way we think it should, it makes us very anxious. It creates what's going to happen next? We don't quite know. We get used to people. We get used to the way things operate. And suddenly when something's gone, when something's disrupted, we don't quite know what to do. We're not sure of our footing anymore. And so it's this really simple sentence. Now a new king arose in Egypt who did not know Joseph. That change is so profound. It is so profound. And there's simple announcements in our lives that bring profound changes. We all know that. There's so much we can't control and don't control. And sometimes it's great things. Someone announces they're expecting. Someone announces they're getting married. Someone announces they got a new job, but now they're going to have to move. Or, wonderful things happen too. But sometimes it's things like, there's nothing more we can do. Simple announcement. But it's going to change everything. And the immediate change that's going to happen for the descendants of Joseph and the descendants of Israel is that this new king is threatened by them. He's feeling threatened because of their numbers, and he begins scapegoating them. Everything that's wrong, he starts, making the big catastrophe moment of what's going to happen, that if we don't get control over this, then our enemies are going to come and they're going to join with them because of how horrible we are, and they're going to take everything over, and it's all going to be over, and it's all going to be terrible, and it's all going to be horrible, and these horrible people who are here, we've got to get this under control. And so he calls them, they're a threat to our security, and they're an internal menace, and they're awful and horrible, and they're going to ruin everything. And so what began as this beneficial partnership between these two groups of people, because enough time has passed and people have forgotten, now it's become this adversarial relationship. Now it's not a peaceful coexistence anymore. Now things have changed. There's a new king in town, and he is not happy. So we all have the scapegoat. We all have to point the fingers at someone. I mean, this shouldn't sound new. We still do this. I mean, we scapegoat others and others scapegoat us. I mean, that's what we do. We're very good at unfairly blaming others for a problem or an incident that we don't want to deal with. Rather than deal with our own mess, we want to blame someone else. Well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have been there in the first place. I mean, we do that from the time we're yay high. It's not my fault. She just came in here and took my stuff, so then I had to smack her. I'm sure that came out of my mouth when I was a child, because my sister was frequently in my room touching my stuff. And I'm sure I probably walloped her on more than one occasion and sent her down, the hallway toward her own room, and then got in trouble for it. I guarantee it. I will bet the farm on that one. We all scapegoat in some way, shape, or form because we don't want to admit we're wrong. And it's so much easier to blame other people. It's so much easier to point the finger at somebody else. So rather than doing the hard work of reflection and repenting for what we've done, it's so much easier to place blame on somebody else. And especially a group that doesn't have any power, well, that's a convenient target. That's an easy target when they don't have any, why not? What are they going to do to fight back? When has this happened? When have we done this? I've seen it happen in workplaces. We all know it happened in school. We all know what happens in families, neighborhoods. It doesn't matter the grouping of people. If there's people involved, this has probably happened or is happening right at this moment. I mean, at times it's part of what makes social media still fun, is to see what people, all the drama people can churn up over seemingly very small, simple things. And look at our biblical leaders. Look at Moses, Joshua, Elijah, Jeremiah, John the Baptist, Jesus, Paul. How many of them were scapegoated? The answer is all of them. And how did they deal with it? Well, in Matthew 5, in the Beatitudes, what is it Jesus says? Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. There's nothing new under the sun, my favorite line. So after this king, which by the way, we have no idea which one it is, never tells us. We know who the midwives are. We have their names. We have no idea which pharaoh it is. And there's a whole world of people trying to guess which pharaoh it is. Everyone from Tutmosis I all the way down to Ramesses II and further on, and which covers hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. There's no idea, no clue. After the king has tried to keep the Hebrews down through extra work, through fewer resources, his next move is this conversation he has with the midwives where he instructs them to kill all the boys that they deliver. And this is the moment when the story really takes a turn. Because up to this point, what Pharaoh has done is not horrible. I mean, it's not great, but he's put extra work on them. He's being, it's being oppressive. It's not fabulous, but now we've crossed a line. Now I want you to go kill them, to kill their infant sons. And it's fascinating to me that the king is so worried about the men when it's the women he should be worried about. It's not the men in this story who stand up, it's the women who do. They're the ones who make these very simple choices that change the entire narrative. They're making choices about what to do and who to be and who to look after and who to follow. They're the ones, and there they all are. This was just a really neat picture that was put together, and on the left-hand side, that's supposed to be the midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. And then you have Pharaoh's daughter, and you have all the others in there too. But yeah, this is an image of all of them. This is a story about 5 women who all make a choice not to follow the rules. That's not a lesson we usually teach our girls, to not follow the rules, right? We usually have lots of rules, all kinds of rules for how you're supposed to behave and how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to protect yourself and how you're supposed to be. These are 5 women who all said, no, not following that rule. Even when the Pharaoh is coming to them and telling them what he wants them to do, they still figure out a way to say no. They all disregard the orders of the king. Even his own daughter. They all do it. And it's them taking a stand to be in the way of the most vulnerable, a way to protect those around them. And it's a very simple choice for all of them. But it's a choice that also changes the world.